Hello and welcome to VChess. My name is Naiditsch. I'm a chess grandmaster, and today we will continue playing rapid games and analyze the games. So let's go with our first 10-minute game. Why to play 10-minute game? Because I have a little bit time to comment on the game. In case I play 3-minute games, it's very difficult because it's just too fast to comment the game on a decent level. That's why we are playing the 10-minute games, rapid games, not too slow and not too fast. Let's see who will be our first opponent. Our first opponent is from Germany. So let's begin with the move e4. We have e5, the most solid answer at the move e4. Let's go with a Spanish opening. We play the main Spanish, short castle, b5. Here everything is very normal. Let's continue with the move a4. Not the most often played, usually c3 and d4 is a little bit more popular, but it's alright. And let's continue with the move d3. The idea of d3 is to protect the pawn on e4. Now that the bishop is on b7, the bishop is going to look into the e4 pawn. So not the best position for the bishop. Knight on c3, we would like to grab the pawn on b5 in case we can. Obviously, black will defend the pawn, maybe by playing the move b4, which is pretty normal. There are a few ways to play. Yes, we have the move b4. Now we can go with the move knight on d5 or knight on e2. So knight on e2 also very logical. The knight gets to g3. What could be more typical for the Spanish than to have the knight on g3, especially now that the bishop is on b7. It means we might get to the f5 square. This is the idea. Okay, let's see what happens next. We have the move knight a5, so black is sacrificing here the pawn on e5. Very interesting. So what is going to happen? In case we take on e5, black takes here, we take it back. There is a move d5 coming, most probably, so white with the pawn up, but black has compensation. Still, to take a pawn is usually a good idea. So maybe let's try to take the pawn. We take, of course, d5, so everything as expected. Now we have to think how to defend the pawn on e4. There is maybe queen to f3, but then the knight on e5 will have not so many squares to go. It means a little bit tricky. Maybe we can go afterwards to g4. Is it enough to be better? Not 100% sure. It might be just an equal position. What else do we have? To play d4 and to take after on d5. Yes, this is also possible. But once again, is it a better position? Not 100% sure. Playable, yeah, but maybe not better. So what should we do here? Should we go with a move knight on g4 and try to defend the pawn on e4 as much as we can? Should we play first the move queen to f3? Similar idea, knight on g4. Next, I don't know what is a better play here. Maybe knight on g4. So let's try to defend the pawn on e4 as much as we can. Welcome to the chat. Welcome everyone to the chat. I hope you're having good day, good evening, wherever you are. For me, it's midday in the UAE. We continue with our educational live streams. I'm playing rapid games and commenting the games the way I see it. So we have enough time to analyze the games, to check ideas, etc. In case I would play blitz games, it would be just too fast. So not enough time to learn from the games. Now we have the move rook e8 been played. Maybe I have the option of playing the move d4. Very interesting to play the move d4 now. Or just simple taking there on f6 and to play bishop e3 next. Also to play bishop e3 is looking very interesting. Let's take a look. So we have the move bishop e3. Of course, again, this is a very tactical position. So we have to calculate well here. I think I like the move bishop on e3. It looks very nice to play the move bishop on e3. So let's try. We develop the bishop. This is, of course, great. Second idea, in case black takes, we're gonna take with the pawn and activate the rook on the f file. So the idea is, yes, I might lose the pawn on e4, but then we go d4 to block the bishop on b7. Very important to develop the bishop from c1, because it looked like bishop c5 and the bishop on b7 are very well placed. But now after bishop e3, black is under pressure. To go away with the bishop, we're winning a tempo. Which is obviously a good thing. To win a tempo for free, that's great. In case bishop is gonna take on e3, yes, he takes, obviously. We can take here, queen takes, then to win a tempo, but then b2 is going to fall. It means probably we will take with the f-pawn. Knight takes f6, deadly threat. So he changes, and here we have ideas of knight f5. We have ideas of knight h5. All of this probably is going to be countered by the move queen on g5. That's why we will do something else. We can take the pawn, which is possible, but I think we should play for a checkmate. So what we do is now to close the bishop on b7, and we keep the ideas of knight f5, knight h5 in mind. Plus, we might play something simple like rook on c1. Beautiful position for the rook. Take a look here. Great pressure on the c file. Also, we can go rook to f4. So just imagine rook gets here, or maybe f5, but we have to be careful with the move bishop on c8. We will have some tactical ideas with knight h5. So position might get very tactical and very direct. Positionally wise, I think white is doing better, except my pawn on b3 theoretically might get weak. So just imagine some endgame. Then we have like bishop on d5 and bishop takes b3. This we have to avoid with white, but till we have queen and knight on the board, I think we should not worry too much, because these pieces are so powerful in the attack. So we have to play for attack. How we start? Pawn is hanging, but this is not that important at the moment because we try to get to the black king. Let us make some calculations. In case we go rook f5, he has to pin. We go knight on h5, probably the move g6, because I cannot give a check, there is queen takes. This does not work. How can we prepare the move knight on h5 or knight on f5? Maybe to play the move h4 now, to stop this queen g5 from happening. Maybe. Let's go with the move h4. Looks good. Probably there is bishop on e6 next, but then we will play knight f5. He's gonna change, but I guess we will do a little better. I don't see something else that is very good for white instantly. So yes, I think I will go for the move h4 with the idea knight f5 or knight on h5. I would expect black to play now the move bishop e6. Maybe there is something better for black, but I don't see a better move than bishop on e6. h4 is very useful, of course, king h2 somewhere. But obviously the main idea is to play knight h5 or knight to f5 next. So yes, let's see what happens next. In case you have some questions, please do ask them in the chat. If I see it, your question, I will be happy to answer. Let's see what is happening next. We will try to give a checkmate to the black king on g8. Here we have the move rook e6. Interesting play. The rook aims to get to g6. Making sense, of course. Strong move by our opponent. The downside, the rook is not gonna be perfectly placed there. That's why maybe we can switch here our play with on the c file. Definitely not a bad idea. But do we have some better options? Not sure if we have something better. Now we have to think to start with a move knight on f5 or to start with a move rook on c1. Well, what is actually the better way to start? Not sure, not sure. Okay, let's go with a move for rook to c1 maybe immediately, but then there is rook to g6, we put the queen to f4. And then maybe rook to f6, but then we're gonna take. So this is okay, so maybe let's go with the move for rook to c1. The rook is so powerful on the c file. I'm not sure if we are doing better, but it looks pretty dynamic, the position. We will see. We will see what is going to happen next. We have a lot of tactical options. Plus queen f4, trying to get the pawn on c7. I guess black is going to win the pawn on b3 at some point. We have the move c6. Yeah, very safe play by black. Now, how can we get to the black king? Not easy, not easy. Still b3 is sort of weakness, so let's go with the move knight on f5, I think. We have to put the knight to a good square. Next, we have to think. The next move for white is not so obvious. I believe it is to put the queen to f4, because queen is nicely placed on f4, but there is no checkmate yet. Somewhere we might be able to play the move h5, but we have to choose wisely when to play it. Very interesting position. Maybe also idea could be to play the move a5, because I don't think the pawn on a5 can be taken, and it's long term quite nice to have the pawn on a5. So let's see what is going to be our next move. It depends. We can also try to attack here somehow on the king side, but very, very difficult to attack on the king side, because how to attack? We have to be very creative to attack. Maybe to double on the f-file is not so bad. Yes, we're gonna lose the pawn on b3, but still we have this beautiful structure here. King on h8. Very positional play. I believe we should do something like a5, because I don't like when black puts here the pawn to a5. So maybe let's play the move a5. I don't think the pawn can be taken easily, because we have this knight e7 ideas. We have also h5 first. So to take the pawn on a5, very risky decision for black. And we try to be as solid as we can. Maybe rook to c5, because then to take here we get the rook into the game on e5. Of course, very, very complex. Difficult to say what's next. At some moment it will get very tactical. So he takes the pawn here. Okay, can we go with the move h5? This was my idea. I don't see. Black rook is gonna go on e6 probably. So we have queen g4. There is still that move queen on g5. Okay, can we just take the pawn? There is bishop on d5. So that's why maybe to play the move h5 first. So we get the rook to e6. Or maybe I should have done something else. I don't know. Maybe I should have done something else. Difficult to say. Let's see if we can do something on the f-file. Black is a full pawn up, so this is of course good for black. The downside is that g7 might be under attack, so we have like queen on g3 or queen on g4. I believe queen on g... I don't know, because we can also try to win the pawn here. So where should we go with our... I think queen on g3 feels better. We attack the pawn on g7. Now, maybe queen g4 would have been better just to take the pawn. My idea is now to get this all my pieces into the attack, but I just don't know how to start with that. Maybe knight on h4. Okay, we have to also play faster because otherwise it's gonna be loss on time. Let's try with the move knight on h4. So I have this knight on g6 trick. Bishop is a little bit out of the game, so I hope that I have this queen and knight combination, which could be very, very dangerous in the attack. But on the other hand, not so many pieces left on the board, so it's not easy to give a checkmate. Now we have to play smart here. What could be smart? Maybe get all the pieces into the attack. Is it smart? Or should I play knight f5? I think I should get the pieces. Rook f4 followed by knight f5. Idea is to get the rook to g4 in the right moment. Not so many pieces on the board, so obviously black has some chances to defend from the mating threats. Black is a pawn up, but at the moment I have an excellent pawn structure, so I should have good compensation. Maybe actually I should have gone here to get the rook to e5. Also looks very, very nice. I don't know. Very interesting game. So in case of queen on g5, we have this option of playing rook g4 and take the pawn on g7. King is relatively safe. Bishop on d5, very positional play. Can we do something unpleasant to black? I don't see what, so let me play the move rook to f5 because I didn't like, maybe I did not the best. The rook is gonna be beautifully placed on e5. Maybe next move queen f4, just improving my position a little bit. And then we see what happens next. King is theoretically under big pressure here, but I have to play way faster. So I have to put... Let's put the queen to f4. Very little time on the clock. And this is what worries me a little bit here. So let's see what happens next. Slowly, as you can see, we're trying to get our pieces, but queen on g5, there is no trick here. Well, no tricks, this is bad. I have to take, probably get the rook to e7. Yeah, I did not play the position very well, obviously. Still, it is a huge fight here because we have much better pawn structure. So this is a chance. Let's get to the a6 pawn. So let's go here. Not to give him f5, because this was a threat. Knight is pretty strong. And we have to take. And how can we promote the pawn? Let's try with the move a6. We cover. a6. It's almost a queen, but not yet. Let's get the knight to c5. Beautiful position for the knight. Take the pawn. He is also pushing on me. but we might be able to take the pawn. Let's see. Because we have a beautiful position of our pieces. Our piece is doing extremely well, so let's give a check. Let's give a check, let's come back. Let's block the bishop and we win the game. So very, very tough game. Very, very tough game. In the end, finally our activity was strong enough, but very, very tough game. Very interesting game. We had compensation for the pawn down. Opponent's bishop is bad. Yeah, exactly. In case you like our educational streams on VChess, please like and subscribe to our channel. We have as well a beautiful application on the market. So new application is coming. We have books in the web store, and as well we provide chess coaching. So for those of you who is seriously interested, please send us an email. Next game, e4. Let's go with a Caro-Kann opening. d4, d5. The main line, bishop on f5. h4. This is a very main of the Caro-Kann, and let's play the move a6. Lately, there have been many games on this very strange move a6, but the idea is to play as fast as we can the move c5 move, or as we can see now, we have this f4, so we can counter with the move h5, so we break the pawn structure of white. And idea is to get the knight to h6, as you can see, beautifully blocking everything here on the light squares. I see in the chat I'm a 300 ELO beginner. Is there any particular book? We have 2 books in our bookstore for beginners, so you can check them out. If you like them, yeah, just buy online. So we sell the books very, very cheap in PDF. For e-download, you have immediately the book. Bishop on e2. Well, where does the bishop go? Now, usually bishop on f5 is the way to play, because we would like to proceed with the move e6. Bishop, nice position here on f5, e6 coming next, and in theory... Oh, he gives us more light squares. Okay, so let's take. Of course, we try to control the light squares. You can see bishop e4. Somewhere also a possibility, but do we need it? The rook is gonna move. Maybe we need it. Bishop e4 is not looking bad at all. But we can just proceed with a very positional game, e6. All the light squares are under control of black. The knight from b8. We have here 2 options. Knight gets to b6 and then to d5. Or we try with the move c5. Both is looking pretty good. So, which should we choose? Maybe also to play bishop e4, bishop d5, not so bad. But on the other hand, why not to play simple move? Knight gets to b6 with a tempo, and we get our knight on d5. Beautiful knight. So, bishop on d3. Is it good for white to change the bishop? Usually not a bad idea, but now that we have knight h5, knight f5 coming next, I don't think it is the best idea. We have here many nice moves to play with the black pieces. We can put one knight on d5, the other knight on f5. So we'll have this kind of monster knights. Maybe we can go bishop e7, trying to grab the pawn, but then there is bishop on f2, so, sorry, bishop on f2. White will try to defend the pawn. Is there a reason to do that so quick? I don't know. It is possible, but I like just simple moves, maybe to take. And then we get the knight on f5, and h4 is under attack, plus rook takes h5, so very simple play for black. Let's see what happens next. Our opponent is also playing so fast. Actually, I should have maybe played the move queen on d5, attacking the rook and trying to get my queen into the game as fast as I can. Maybe, not 100% sure. Now to play queen on d5 looks like a good move. We attack the rook, plus I have this queen on b5 idea, so maybe even the main is to put the queen on c4 or b5. endgame is looking so unpleasant for white. Where should we play? Queen on c4 or b5? Maybe none of them, and we should just aim to take the pawn, take the second pawn with a beautiful position, I think, for black. But let's go maybe with the move queen on c4. I think endgame is very, very good for black. We control everything. The knight is much better than the bishop here on f2. Queen on f3. Defending the pawn on h5, but now we have this check and to take on b2. Can we win the pawn on b2? Maybe, maybe not, because there is rook to b1, but still, it looks like quite a good idea. Also, bishop b4 check followed by knight on d5 looks like a good idea. Also, knight d5 immediately, so many good moves. This is sometimes a problem of a good position. Too many options. Can we play queen on b4 with the idea knight on c4 just to win the pawn on b2? Yes, maybe. But I think knight on d5 also looks very good. So let's continue playing positional chess. Knight on b4 eventually. Depends, of course, what white is going to play next. Long term, we try to have the knight on f5 versus the bishop on f2. So the rest of the pieces, we're happy to change the rest of the pieces. We want to get knight f5 versus bishop f2. And this is going to be almost a winning endgame. That's why we have the strategy. So let's follow the strategy and see what happens next. After very, very quick play in the opening, our opponent is taking some time before playing the next move. So let's see what happens. We also have the option of bishop b4. Yeah, now, for example, bishop on b4 is looking very, very good, I think. We change the bishop against the knight because we go for this position, knight f5 versus the bishop on f2. So we have a long-term plan. Welcome, everyone who is watching currently. I hope you're having a great time. We are enjoying rapid games. I try to comment the games as I understand the positions. So we try to learn something new and, of course, just to have some fun. In case you like our educational channel VChess, please like and subscribe. This helps us a lot. Let's see what is going to be played by white next. This pin is quite unpleasant. The knight on d2, I hope to take it next. We should keep in mind that we have also the option of long castling next. But of course, long term, I can only remind you of the same idea. We want to have the knight on f5 versus the bishop on f2. So why knight f5 is so strong against the bishop on f2? Because it is completely dominating the bishop. Bishop has no squares to go. We have pawns on h4 and d4, so bishop is just defending the pawns. The bishop has no future. And as well, long run, the pawn on h5 is going to fall. The knight on f5 is protecting the pawn on g7. So the knight is worse, basically a rook. That's why endgame with a knight on f5 should be close to winning, I guess. Of course, let's take a look what will happen next. Theoretically, we have as well some attacking chances, so we might go like long castle and try to put this pressure on the d5. This might be also a nice idea. So yeah, let's see what is going to be the next move of our opponent. After a very, very quick play in the opening, now our opponent is thinking for a long time, so I would advise you not to have this strategy. It's better to spend a little bit more time in the opening, get a position that you like, so later you can think less, because if you do it reversed and your position might be already something you dislike, then it's very difficult to continue playing. All right, queen will be soon under attack by the move rook on c1, so maybe just let's remove the queen to b5. We attack the pawn on b2, so very, very safe. Next step is how to get an endgame, or to play the move c5 and try with a long castle to play against the king on d2, which is also looking like a decent idea. We have the move b4, so white was all the weaknesses now on the light squares, as you can see, full domination by black. I believe we can just open the position by playing the move a5. The rook is getting into the game now on the a file, and the king from e8 might even go to d7. It feels strange to keep the king in the center, but on the other hand, the king is so safe on d7. We have the move knight on c3, so of course we take. So we got what we wanted. Take a look at the bishop on f2. This is what we've been aiming for, to have knight f5 versus the bishop on f2. We got what we wanted. Now we can think about opening the position by playing a takes b4, so we play on the a file. But is it really needed? We can immediately take, for example, here's a pawn on h5, which looks very nice, so why not to do it? Let's take the pawn. We take the pawn. Next, if we can even close the position completely, because the knight on f5 is just so good. So in case we take, white is gonna take back, and white in theory has some counterplay on the a file. White to give a chance for a counterplay. We don't need it. That's why white is opening, so of course endgame. This is what we've been waiting for so long. We go into the endgame. This endgame is looking like a better endgame for black. Rook on g5. Okay, so we proceed with our plan. We get an endgame, and now the question is to change or not to change, because if we change ag, it's also looking good, because we can go king on d7 followed by the move for rook h8. Also looks like a very nice position. In case we go back, there is probably h5, but still we have the move king on d7 followed by the move rook h8, so both is looking very good. But maybe let's just go back for the current moment. Next move is king d7. So we keep all the options open for black. What to play next? We reached strategically what we wanted. We have the knight on f5 versus bishop on f2. This is what we wanted so long ago. Now finally we get it. As you can see, king on d7 pretty safe. There is rook h8 coming next, and most probably the pawn on h5 is going to fall, so let's see. We attack the pawn on h5. Next, we can play the move f6. White is attacking the pawn on b7. Obviously, we will not give him the pawn, so we just protect it with our king. h5 pawn is under attack. So let's see how white is gonna play now. Rook on h1. We can go with a move f6, but then white is gonna take, we're gonna take, and then there is rook g6 attacking the pawn. We don't want that, even though it is a winning position because we have knight e7. He cannot take the pawn because of the fork. But why not just to play the move g6? Let's calculate g6. He cannot take, the rook is hanging, he cannot do nothing, so we're gonna win the pawn. Let's go with the move g6. Very simple play. Next, we're gonna win the pawn on h5. And in the end, we have the beautiful knight on f5 against the bad bishop on f2. We will have an extra pawn. So it's looking excellent for black. h5. Alright, some threats. No, let's take. We won the pawn. Pawn up for black, plus a better position. Now we can take with the pawn or to take with the rook. I think it doesn't matter, so we take with the rook. Position of black is winning, so it is only that black is choosing what is more simple. Here we have the check, and we will start collecting the pawns now. Easy way, rook f3 followed by rook takes f4. Also knight on e7, knight on d5 is looking very good. I don't know what is actually more simple. Well, I think it doesn't really matter, so let's just attack the pawn on f4 and let's take it. So we take the pawn already, 2 pawns up, next g5, g4, g3, and over. Beautiful positional win. Our opponent resigns, so very nice play. We had a long-term strategy to have the knight on f5 against the bishop on f2. We managed to get it done, and in the end we win. So chess is very often a combination of strategy plus tactics. So we had a good plan, and we executed our plan because of the tactics. So we missed no tactical blows. We executed our strategy quite well by not giving any chances to our opponent. Yeah, so this is what is chess about. Good strategy plus good execution, but you must be very sharp in tactics, obviously. So tactics so important in chess, because you might have good strategy and poor execution, and then that's it. Okay, next game. Let's go with a King's Indian. This is King's Indian defense. Main line for the current moment. And let's go with line knight on a6, followed by the move e5. There are very many different lines for white, for black. So we're not judging the lines because it can be played in so many different ways. We have e5 continuation here. We have g5 continuation as well in these positions. Let's think what we are going to choose. Maybe to play with a move c5 or to play with a move g5. What is actually better? Let's try with the move c5, because now we have the bishop on h4. Not very usual to have the bishop on h4. Usually the bishop is on e3. So now the position is a bit unusual. Let's bring the knight to c7. Next move might be to play the move e5 or to play with the move a6 followed by the move b5. So both strategies are pretty standard in the current positions. Nice comments in the chat. Yeah, welcome to all of you. I see a request to review the game. Sorry, I'm not reviewing the games because I'm commenting a lot during the game. So to review the game, it would be like to do a double work. It makes not much sense. You can just check it on YouTube later. To review the game makes no difference because just so many comments during the game. Let's go with the move bishop g4. So why did bishop on g4? Because we would like to take on f3, and then we have the strategy of knight on d7, knight e5 somewhere, or to push the move b5. Sometimes the sacrifice b5 is very interesting. Let's see if we can make it happen as well. The move e5 could be possible. e5 on one hand doesn't look good because we close the bishop on g7. On the other hand, we close the whole center. So e5 is not a bad move. White probably will have to take on e6. We're gonna take it with a knight and we'll get the knight on d4. Not a bad move, e5 here. Can we try to play the move b5? Also interesting to push immediately the move b5 because the bishop is so far away. The bishop usually belongs to e3. That's why we have a chance of playing the move b5. But I'm not 100% sure that the pawn down position is really so good for black. So maybe let's play the move rook to b8. We would like to play the move b5 in case we can, and still we keep the option of playing the move e5. Also e5 was looking like a very interesting option here. So let's see what will happen next. Position is quite dynamic because in case you play King's Indian defense, most of the positions are very dynamic. Bishop on e2. Idea is to play f4. Nice idea by white, and same time defending from the move b5 because the bishop is supporting just taking on b5. Let's go now with the move e5. I think it's time to play the move f5 to block this f4 idea. Our bishop on g7, not the best, but as well the bishop on h4, very poorly positioned. We might be able to play the next g5. So the bishop is out of the game, and also a4 is not the best. Usually white is trying to play b4 ideas, but for that white needs the pawn on a3. So now with the pawn on a4, the move b4 is not as dangerous as before. So let's see what happens next. Maybe white is gonna take here, but then I'm gonna take with a knight and get my knight on d4. Usually with a knight on d4, black should have quite decent counterplay. Once again, positions are very dynamic. So We will see how the game goes. But it is normal for King's Indian. King's Indian is a very, very sharp opening. In case you want to play King's Indian, you have to get ready to have crazy games. A5. Pretty normal. Maybe the idea is to play knight on A4. On the other hand, I can go with the move B6 or B5. So I can open the B file. I don't know if I should do it currently, because I think it's not time yet to open the line. Maybe queen here, or to play G5 immediately also looks like something possible. So maybe let's go with the move queen on E8 first, because I would like to get my knight on D7, and maybe I have a 5 or a G5 next. Another very important idea in this position is to change the bishop from G7 against the bishop on H4. It is very hard to do, of course, very, very difficult to change the bishop, but we have options of knight to H7, bishop F6. So, or we can try to play the move H5 followed by the move bishop on H6 somewhere. Obviously not immediately, but in a good moment. Rook on B1, preparation to play the move B4. So is it time for us now to block the B file? Maybe. Maybe it's time for us to do something. So B5 or B6. Is there a difference? Not sure, not sure. Maybe also just a simple knight D7, knight C5 is looking good in case of B4. Many options once again for black, but maybe let's try with the move B5. I guess he's going to take, yes, and we're gonna take with the rook. So we have a nice rook now on the B file. There is no more of the move B4. So welcome everyone to VChess once again. In case you're enjoying my comments, like, subscribe to our educational channel VChess. Queen on C2. What could be the idea? To play knight A4? Maybe, but not so dangerous. So let's go with the move knight on D7. Or should we try to get our rook on B8? Also possible. Not a bad idea. But probably knight on D7 looks more normal. We're getting ready to play eventually the move F5. Not necessarily, but maybe. And same time we would like to play bishop on F6. This is one of the key ideas of King's Indian. In the structure of E5, in case we can change the bishops, this is just fantastic. That's why we can try H5, bishop H6. Also looks very good. Or we go straight for the move bishop F6. Hard to say what is better. I like the move bishop F6. Let's change. Probably he will avoid the change. And now we go queen E7. So as expected. Bishop on G3. Next move, bishop G5, bishop F4, for example, or bishop H4. After bishop H4, for white, yes, we'll play the move bishop H4. Now white can go with a bishop on H2, but this feels not like a great bishop. So we are doing quite well at the moment. We should do something with a knight here on C7. Bad position for the knight. That's why let's maybe first play rook to B8, and then we're gonna get our knight over E8 to G7 to H5. This could be a good idea. Also, we have the idea of playing queen G5. Actually, maybe I should have played the move queen on G5 immediately. I was just not sure what happens in case of F4, so I postponed the idea. Maybe let's do it later. Currently, to play F4 is not dangerous because I'm gonna take it and put my knight on E5. So we are waiting for the next move of our opponent. It's difficult to make a strategy here for white because there is no play on the queen side. And we're doing very, very safe here on the king side. F4 might be like one of the only ideas for white, but we're gonna take it, then we're gonna bring the bishop back. And as you can see, the pawn on B2. Just imagine bishop here, pawn. Under heavy pressure here from our rooks on the B file. That's why it's difficult to make a smart decision here for white. And with black we have option, as we already said, get the knight to H5 to force the change of bishops. This is number one. Number 2, we have queen on g5, just trying to provoke a forward take, go back, and then to have the bishop on f6. Also, something we can do, so bishop on g5 also looks very, very logical. We put the bishop eventually to d4, and it would be huge. So yeah, let's see what happens next. Our opponent is thinking for a long time to play in the current position f5. This would be a mistake because we just opened the position for white. White is just gonna take. So this is not what we want. Now f4 is just too dangerous because we're gonna take it, and this pressure on the b file, in my opinion, should give excellent play to black. Of course, we are playing the King's Indian, so everything is possible. King's Indian is an opening that is going to be very, very sharp till the very end, but I believe in the current moment we're doing pretty well. Next, should we play the move h5 or should we not? I don't think we should at the moment, so let's just continue our strategy by putting knight to a better square. Queen on c1, is there any threat? I don't see it, so maybe just go back, or finally to play h5 is also good, so I don't know. Should we play the move h5? I think we should. It's not a bad move, so why not to make it? Bishop on f6 is supporting a little bit the push of g5, so I would like to execute the move g5 in case I can. Bishop on c2, nice move. Bishop gets to a4, but we will not let the bishop get there, so we attack the pawn on c4. Now b3 played, so no more bishop on a4. This is beautiful for black. Of course, still position remains not so obvious, but let's continue our slow play. King h7, bishop on h6. We might get a beautiful bishop. Rook is attacking the pawn on a6. We can defend it easily, but we need to think how to do it in the best way. Maybe let's come back because there is no rush. There is no rush. Let's come back. King h7, so we get the move bishop h6 next. We try to activate the bishop. And let's see what is going to happen next. So it's very, very positional game. Usually King's Indian is so sharp. Finally we change the bishop. So a very important step for black. The bishops are gone. Excellent. Now we have to be careful here not to let white something tricky. I don't see something tricky, so let's get knight f6 because f4 we're gonna get knight on g4. And let's continue changing pieces. In case we manage to change the queens, this would be another good news. So let's get the queen to h6. We change the bishop. Now we try to change the queens. Everything is protected. The pawn on a6 beautifully positioned because it cannot be attacked easily. So next step, change the queens. Of course, it's not a must to change the queens. We have a couple of options to play this position, but I think to change the queens is a good idea because we have this pressure on... Let me make a move. Let's go here. We have the pressure here on the b file, so changing queens should be quite good for black. g4, so finally he starts to play strange moves. We waited for a very, very long time because now f4 square is going to be weak. We have to be obviously very careful here with the black, but it looks already pretty nice. What can we do next? Let's see. Maybe to play the move f6 is looking good. So the queen has to be moved somewhere. Now to play queen h6. We try to change. We try to change the queens. f4 square is weak. g5, okay, I'm gonna take it. And I will play just the move queen on g7 next. Does he want to change the queens? Position remains not simple, but I believe that black slowly is overtaking the game. Just we have to be careful here with the king. Should we change the queens? to change. Idea of white is maybe to play the move f4, because now the position of the knights is not perfect. It would be better to have the knight on d7, because then nothing would be happening. That's why maybe let's go with the move queen on g7 first. Let's get the knight to d7. If I get my knight on d7, that's it. Black is going to have a very beautiful position. Can we get the knight there? This is the question. Let's try. So, knight f6. Next move is knight on d7, and then we get the rook to f8. Maybe rook f8 immediately, and then to bring the rook back. So we switch. We switch from the queen side to the king side. Let's go. Rook f8. Knight on g4 check is dangerous somewhere, but can we play knight on g4 check? He takes, we take the rook. In case king goes away, we have the knight h2 idea, and then to take. Looks very good for black, so I think we are capable of giving this check. King has to be moved. And idea is knight h2 and to grab the pawn on f3. So we had a lot of patience, and this patience that we had is being rewarded. Slowly we changed the pieces, and now what do we have here? It looks like a winning position for black. Just we have to be careful, of course. So queen h6 first or something else. Can we give a checkmate? I don't see a checkmate. So we have to be careful because there is knight on g3 somewhere. So what to do? What to do here? I have to play a little bit faster the next couple of moves. I think let's go back, because to get the rook to f8 feels like a good idea. Probably he's going to take on g6. Let's see. Knight on g3 making perfect sense. I wanted to get my rook to g1, but now I'm not so sure. Maybe more easy to put the rook to f6 actually. And then the next move is to get my rook to f8. With a rook on f8, it should be a winning position. I wanted to take with a rook, because why not? Now endgame. Is it the best that I can do? I don't think so. Let's go with the move for rook to h6, because I think I should be able to give a checkmate to my opponent. The king is so opened, just very little time on the clocks. So I have to play faster. I have to play faster, this is sure, but the rest is looking good at the moment. Okay, let's... What to do here? How to keep the queens on the board? I don't like to take, but I don't see something better, so I have to play now very quick. I have to play very quick now. Position of black is winning, but we have so little time on the clock. We have to be very quick. Let's get the rook to g5 to win the pawn. We have a winning position, but so little time. Will it be enough to win the game? Let's see. Obviously, I have to play fast. This was a bad move. Why did I do that? Now I have to go back. Still not over yet. How to win the game, by the way. No easy moves here for black. What is this? My rooks are sort of trapped. Very weird. Very strange, because it should have been an easy winning position, and now we're fighting. Let's give a check. Let's put the rook back. I try to get my knight out. Okay, I don't see something better. I know that the pawn is hanging, but we have to do something. No time left on the clock. I have to be very quick now. Let's go here. Let's go here. And check. Take. Let's go here. Here. Let's go. Rook, freeze the rook. Check. Here. Oh, what I'm doing is so bad. Probably still good enough to win the game, but... Oh. On the limit, but it was a win. So our opponent is offering us a revenge. Yes, we take it because it's fair to give a rematch. No, he doesn't play the rematch. Okay, he challenged us for a rematch. I accepted, but it was too late. Yeah, all in all, we had a good strategy. In the end, of course, when you have just a couple of seconds left, this part of the game we should not count. But we had a good strategy. The execution, more or less, okay. We had the dark square strategy, and in the end, we won the game. So, quite nice. This time, let's go with the Sicilian next game. In case you like the channel, please like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. I see a comment in the chat. Rating 1000, how to get better. Just do more chess and you will get better. This is usually the case when people are too lazy to study chess and they wonder why we don't get better. So do chess, of course. During the first steps, do as much tactics as you can. So solve puzzles, this is the key. Alright, next game we have Sicilian here on the board. C3. Interesting. Usually white is not choosing the strategy with the move c3. Now we have c3 being played. We have d6 and bishop g4 ideas. Quite normal for the current positions. We have also d5 idea, also normal. And we have knight f6, which is also normal. So we have three different options here how to proceed. So which one should we choose? Maybe let's choose a more flexible option of d6. We are not at the moment deciding if we're gonna put knight on f6, which is very normal, but maybe let's get bishop g4, because I would like to grab this pawn on d4 in case I can, obviously. So, for white, how to defend the pawn on d4? Not that simple, actually. Bishop on d3. Is it a possible defense? Because I have this option of playing c5, plus I have the option of playing queen on b6. Actually, queen on b6 is looking like something decent. Let's try to play the move queen on b6. Looks a little dangerous, but we would like to take on f3. And the pawns are hanging. I see a question. Any advice for 2200 rated players? So of course, you are already on a very, very good level. And now it depends if you are a club player. How many tournaments do you play per year? I would always advise try to play a little bit more, because the usual situation for a club player is that 1, 2, 3 tournaments per year are being played, so you're basically never in shape. It's not only about the study, it's also about how do you perform during a tournament, so you must be a practical player, very, very important. So try to play a couple of more tournaments in case you can. Of course, try to work on chess with a strong chess player. So it means get a coach or get someone with who you're like very good and you can study chess together. Let's try to take the pawn on b2. So this is what we wanted. We attacked 2 pawns and now we're gonna take one. Of course, it looks dangerous with a knight on g8 currently. White will have definitely some compensation, but in case we manage to survive here, then black will be doing very, very well. We need 2 more moves to survive in the current position. Knight f6 followed by the short castle. So I see a comment, but I played puzzles and something and didn't improve. Bad in opening and endgame. I would always advise you, in case you're not a professional player, don't waste too much time on opening and endgame, because endgame, okay, could be useful, but openings, not so much. Openings are only important in case you are really, let's say, 2000 player plus and you have ambitions, because first of all, to do openings is very boring. Secondary, in case you do openings, they will not help you very much. In case you go to slightly better, slightly worse from the opening, why does it matter? It is not decisive for the game. In most of the games, except very, very high level chess players, the blunders are deciding the game. So you can play a great game, then you blunder something and you just lose. So this is what happens in most of the games. Opening is not gonna help you. Plus, in case you want to do openings, it takes you so much time to do openings. Huge time investment, and instead of openings, you could do endgames, you could do middle games, you could do tactics, so it's not very rational to do openings for a non-professional chess player. So, let's take a look at the current game. We are in an endgame, which is quite good, because we have pawn up. On the other hand, we are still not in best shape here with a knight on g8, but we have the bishop pair, so is it possible to get some advantage here with the black pieces? Maybe. We have to choose to play b4 or to take on a4. What should I play next? Because I'm just a little bit scared. If I takes, then there is rook a1, and this might be just a draw. We would not like to make a draw in the current position, so it would be great to have some kind of fight. How can we get a fighting position? Is it time to play the move b4? I think so. I think it's time to play the move b4. We would like to support by playing a5. And of course, in case we play for a win, we should try to keep as many pieces on the board as possible, so this is the key. Defender should try to change as much as possible, and in case you are the side that pushes for a win, you try to keep as many pieces on the board, so your winning chances are growing. These are the basics of chess, I would say. The next move for white, what could it be? How to attack the pawn on b4? a5. So he tries to keep my pawn very bad on b4 to try to play rook to b1. Sorry, wrong arrow. Rook to b1 followed by the move rook a4 and get the pawn on b4. Makes sense what my opponent is doing here. How can we defend the pawn on b4? Very, very difficult to defend the pawn. Maybe to go back, bishop d7, he will attack, and to play rook to b8, but somehow I think I will drop the pawn. Doesn't matter what I'm going to do next. Maybe to take here, but he's gonna take with a g pawn, and again, black is out of risk, but how to get a better play? This is a question. Is it time to do something crazy like the move f5? I don't know if it's time for it. So let's play something normal. I don't see how to defend the pawn, so we play just knight f6. It's time to develop. Maybe d5 next. But let's see. Also next we will see if we keep the king in the center or we're gonna do short castle. So with black pieces we have the choice. Not sure yet. To castle or king on d7, depends on what will happen next. King on d7 feels more natural to keep the king in the center, but we have this little problem here with a bishop on g4, because the knight might go somewhere, and then we have this h3. No, white might try to catch the bishop, but maybe it's not possible. Okay, let's go with the move rook to b8. Defending the pawn on b4 at the current moment. I guess white will play the move rook a4. Feels natural to try to win the pawn back. it will be played, and then I guess we're gonna play the move king on d7 because we have to keep the king in the center. Because of the pawns a5 and a7, black might be doing better because we are much closer to the a pawn with our king. For the king on g1, it's gonna take forever to join the game, so we have like an extra piece in the game. Alright, you're most welcome. Thank you for the nice comments in the chat. Of course, in case you're enjoying my comments, please like, subscribe to our channel, try out our application. We have a beautiful application on the market, very nice one. It is made for the whole family fun, so you can try it out. So, the rook a4 been played. Maybe to play the move b3 is making sense because he cannot take twice, but then there is a move rook to a3. To keep the pawn is going to be, I think, a mission impossible here. So, because we're gonna lose the pawn, I don't see a difference to play b3 or not to play the move b3. And let's go with the move king on d7. I think I have to activate my king. We will see. Most probably the move rook b4, yes, we're gonna take, and to play the move rook on c8, we would like to get active on the c file. In case of rook to b7, we have this rook to c7, h3, we are forced to take, and white is going to take back with a pawn. This is also obvious. Next, what should we do next? Now, it's not so easy. d5 is it dangerous. The next move of white, d5, to attack the pawn on a7. I don't think it's very dangerous, but we have to pay attention to the move, of course. We have different strategies here. To play d5 is possible, but then there is this knight b3, knight to c5 coming. It's playable, but it's not gonna be an easy win for black. No easy win at all. We should try to change the rooks. This would be excellent, but how to manage that? Maybe let's play the move e6. Yeah, e6 is what I like because we avoid the move d5. This structure is nice, and later we have this bishop f8 followed by the move d5. Maybe even d5 next could be possible because in case of knight on b3 we have bishop f8. The c5 square would be covered. So let's take a look what is happening next. a6 could be a great move by white, but could be a mistake because rook b7, yes, but now the pawn on a6 might fall. Let's see what happens next. Can we go with the move d5? No, we cannot because there is a check. Rook c7, bishop f4. Ooh, what a trick. What a trick. We should not fall for something like that. What can we do here? Rook c6, rook b7, check. Go back. He's gonna play like rook to b8. How can we get to the pawn on a6? There should be a way to grab the pawn, but I don't see a way to do that. Maybe knight on e8, but there is rook b7 and d5. All of this is looking okay for black, but I would like to be better than okay, but I don't see how, so let's go knight e8. Knight on c7 comes eventually in case we need it. So maybe I would like to play like rook c1, knight c7, rook b7, then to go rook a1, take the pawn on a6. Is it more than a draw? This is the main question here. To make a draw, yes, it's easy, but to get something more than a draw is not easy at all here with the black pieces. I think in case I take rook b7 check, I go up. I don't know if I should do that. A little bit tricky. Obviously I can go rook c7 and take, so this is approximately a draw. Can I do something better than a draw here? Very difficult, very difficult. I think the only chance to play for a win is to take here on d5, but this is looking risky. I thought he has to play rook b7. Okay, now maybe we'll get some little chances to play this position for a win, because d5 is a bad pawn. I would like to play the move rook on c7. I don't know if I should. I don't know if I should do that. But okay, maybe. The rook on c7. The idea is that in case of rook to b7, we're just gonna take and to play the move king on c7. So we win the pawn on b7, lose the pawn on a7, and the pawn on d5 will be in bad shape. So next move is knight on f6, trying to win the pawn on d5. There might be some tactics here for white, but let's see. If there are no tactics, we can go king c8 also. Knight gets to a5. Is it dangerous? I don't think it's very dangerous. So let's go with the move bishop c3, also just to cut the knight. Knight will be out of good squares. Also king c8 was good. I don't know what I should do. So rook on b5. Interesting. Now what can we do here? Get the knight into the game or wait one move longer? Maybe let's go with the move king on c8, because king covers now the b7 square. We should not forget that black is basically a piece up, because the king is so far away. So we play with a piece up. All we need to do is to get stability here, and in case we reach stability, then black should be doing very well. Of course, not an easy task. Yeah, position is far from easy. But let's see what happens next. We should get somehow the knight into the game. How to get the knight into the game? Knight on c7 would be nicely positioned. Should we play the move bishop on d4? But this is not a win, so let's get the knight to d7 into the game. Knight on d3, where white is going, no idea. So let's get knight on d7. Finally, we will change eventually the knight. This is huge, because in case we change the knight, we have this extra piece in the game. So long term, black is good, I think. Just we need to survive here the next couple of moves. I should have gone bishop e5, of course. This is not the best, yeah, because now I have to take with a pawn. But let's see, maybe we're still doing well. Now rook on c6, I think. Is it enough to win the game? Bishop might be much better than the knight. The next couple of moves are so important. We have the extra piece in the game. So king on d7 probably. There are no tricks, or there are some tricks. I don't see the tricks. So king here. We could have taken also bishop before. Just I don't see what happens now. The pawn is here under attack. The d6 pawn is under attack. We take, and now we have this rook endgame. It should be a very good rook endgame for black, because we have the extra piece. So our strategy been well executed, I would say, because now we're gonna collect the pawn. We did what we wanted to do, is to be... let's take a look how to win the current position. We still need to be careful. Not an easy win here at all. So we have to be very careful to win the game. It is a winning position, but we have to be careful. So h5, this is the right way to put the pieces. Now a5, and we're gonna run with our king to the different side. So we won't like to go. Yes, let's go back. Everything is protected, so we should be able to win the current game by advancing. Yes, let's go with the move a4. Here comes the king, and we're gonna take. No pieces left for white. We will take away all he has, and now we should be able to win the game quite easily. Yes, this is a win. All in all, we managed to execute our strategy, but it was a big fight. So like, subscribe, in case you get some value from the Rapid Games, in case you learn new things. So yeah, what do we have here in the chat? Let's go with the next game. E4. For the moment, it's quite good chess that we're playing. So thank you very much for the nice comments. And obviously, welcome everyone to VChess, to our educational channel. We have many different things here. One of them is our application. We have a nice application on the market. Try it out. You will have some fun. And very soon we will offer online chess group lessons. We will announce it. For those of you who are interested in learning something, I will be having 2 different groups, and it will be till 1500 and above. So there will be 2 different groups. You can think for yourself. If you would like to join, it will be most probably once a week and over 4 weeks. So we will announce it on our website. Let's continue. What do we have here? We have the French. The French opening, quite a popular opening. These positions are usually a little bit better for white because we are having this kind of slightly better pawn structure. Of course, it is a big fight, and the main idea here for white is to play bishop on c1, bishop a3 in a good moment. At the moment, b2 pawn might be hanging, so we cannot execute it that easily, but let's hope that we're able to execute it in the future. Now, where to put the bishop from f1? Usually the bishop gets to h3. This is a way to play, so there is no rush. Let's go with the move g3, followed by the move bishop on h3 or bishop on g2. Ideas for black might be somewhere to play the move g6, so we have to be careful. No g6 because we take, and we're gonna take the pawn on h6. We must be careful with the move g6, even though, again, it's not like it's super dangerous. So let's play the move bishop on g2, followed by the move maybe queen on c1, and get the queen on a3 first. And let's see what happens next. So main idea, bishop c1, bishop a3. We have to execute our main idea in a careful way. So we have the idea. Now we have to make the right execution of the idea. And sometimes to execute the idea is very hard. So at the current moment, not easy to get this bishop c1, except we go for the pawn sacrifice. So bishop on c1, queen takes, and then to go back with the bishop on d2, queen on b2, and trying to catch the queen. It might work, but we have to be sure that it works, because otherwise it's just a horrible mistake. We will be just a pawn down. So we have to be very, very careful with the move bishop on c1 in case we would like to sacrifice. In case we don't want to sacrifice, and I think at the moment there is no reason for that, we can be preparing bishop c1 by playing, for example, king on f1, king on g1. Very, very useful. There is no rush. The idea of black is to play g6, which is, again, not a very dangerous idea, even if there is g6, so what? f5, yes, it's possible to play the move f5, but now, in case I take, maybe black wants to take and to play the move e5, so I'm not gonna take there. Now I have to focus on the idea bishop c1, which is the key idea. It should be possible to be executed. And I have a beautiful move here. By the way, you can think a little bit for yourself, but I have a very, very nice move now with the white pieces. Very beautiful move. Maybe you have figured out already what it is. And it is the move knight on g1. Very, very nice. The knight is getting to e2, and I'm freeing my bishop to get to a3. This is number 1. And later to put my knight on f4. So knight on g1, beautiful positional play here. Of course, it's pretty standard. So it's not like I'm the only guy who would play knight on g1. I hope most of you would also play the move knight on g1. Nice positional play. Nothing new, but still, it's beautiful. Chess is a very nice game. So, would you mind showing Vienna game as white? I don't know what you mean. To show the opening Vienna game, to know something like Vienna, it requires many weeks of work. To show something in 5 minutes is just not possible. You're speaking of a very, very popular opening with so many different ideas for both sides. This is not possible. To understand big openings requires very big work. What do we have here? Rook on g8, maybe a preparation for the move g5, but once again, this is not very dangerous. Finally, we managed to execute our idea to get the bishop to a3, and from now on, we are pretty sure that white is having a massive advantage. The bishop on a3, so strong. We executed the key idea of the line to get the bishop to a3. And you will see, maybe now it's not visible immediately that it is so good for white, but you will see. You will see during the next couple of moves that bishop on a3 will be a powerhouse. Can you play the King's Indian? Last game we had the King's Indian. Maybe you have missed it, but last game was on King's Indian. Or a couple of games ago, yeah. We had the King's Indian. So, bishop on a3, attacking the knight on e7, and not only that, because there is bishop b4 and bishop on d6 as well. I don't care if black takes the pawn on a4, it changes nothing. And here we have few options. We can put the king to d2. Looks weird, but it's not bad at all, because the king on d2 protects the pawn on c3. We should only be careful with move knight takes d4, but in most cases it's alright. We can also start with move like queen on b1, but we have to be careful with knight takes d4 somewhere, so I would like to play the move king on d2. King takes a beautiful position here, and long run we might be able to put knight to f4, queen here, queen on b2, get the rook from h1 to b2, and we switch the flanks. So we will attack the king on c8 out of nowhere because we have this power of the bishop g5. Quite a desperate attempt at the moment. We just take it. We have the h-file. Knight takes. What is the idea of black? I don't see any major ideas here for black. Maybe to play the move f4, but well, not the most dangerous move. Still, we have to be a little bit careful, so let's play the move f4, just not to give any kind of counter chance to black. Next move, bishop f3. Very, very safe. There is basically no play for black except h5, h4, but we will take the pawn on h4. Still, we have to play good chess here. We have to focus and play good moves. h4, how dangerous is the move h4? Maybe a little dangerous, so let's go with the move bishop on f3. We keep everything connected here. h4, and now queen e1, queen f2, for example, is looking quite nice. Maybe queen on g1 looks also very safe. Where to put the queen? Maybe just to take, but then he's gonna take with a knight and the bishop is hanging. Still, it looks pretty good, but maybe let's go with the move queen on g1. By opening the h-file and the g-file, sometimes black is making the job for white even more easier. And you might ask, why is it so? Because now the bishop is going to be even more powerful. So we have the queen side to do something, and we have now the king side to do something. So it might just improve the chances of white. Of course, we should not miss some tactics. This is what I'm a little bit worried about. Can we take with the queen? Knight takes here on e5, and then we're gonna take on h8. Rook takes on g3. We can take on e8. Now king d7. Is it like easily winning? I don't think so. So I think it's better first to take on h8 just to be safe, and the g3 pawn is going to fall by itself, so we don't need to do much to win the pawn on g3. In case we take knight on g3, there is some kind of knight takes d4 idea also. This looks like a bad position for black, but maybe a little bit counterplay, but maybe just nothing. So I believe I can take the pawn on g3 because I don't see how black is capable of doing something. So let me take the pawn. No, I think I can. Let's double check because there might be something tricky. Also, just to play queen on g2, then to play rook h1 is looking very, very good. By the way, queen h1, queen h7 also looks good. So many nice options here. Which one should we take? But to take the pawn is usually a good idea in case there is nothing. So let's take the pawn. Next move, he takes on d4. Of course, I saw it, so this is what we've been waiting for. We take. And we can simply go away with the bishop, but I think we should have even something better because we have these opposite color positions. And as I mentioned very often on the stream, opposite color means the attacker is going to have the upper hand. We only need to get the pieces into the game. So rook h1 takes. Looks like a nice position. Also, just a simple bishop e2 is looking very, very good because I don't see any threat by black. Also, to play king e2, king f2 is looking good. Many options. Let's play what we should play. Maybe let's get a bit active with the move rook to h1. The knight is under attack here. The bishop is going to be a very, very bad piece because no moves, literally no moves for the bishop. It looks like a nice position for white. Still, we have to give a checkmate, so it's never over. It's always a fight in opposite color bishop positions. Every move sometimes does matter. By the feeling, white is having a beautiful position because we have this powerful bishop in connection with the queen. There will be so many threats very, very soon to the king on c8. On the other hand, we have to be careful for black not to consolidate, so we should not allow that. This bishop, where to put the bishop? Also queen f2 back just to hunt away the rook. Not so bad. Maybe let's get rid of the rook first. Is there something tricky like the move d4? Maybe there is something tricky, so let me play the move bishop on b4 first. I'm not so worried that he's gonna take the pawn. About this I do not care because we're playing for a checkmate. This pawn will not decide the game. Just we should not miss some tactics. The knight is so bad here on h7, but how to win the knight, this is a question. So rook h7 idea is looking good. Also queen f2 first, just to be safe and try to win the game afterwards is looking also good. First, let's see where the queen is gonna go because not so many squares except taking. Yes, he's taking the pawn. This is what we've been expecting. Now queen on f2. Let's get rid of the rook here from the g3. Then we have this queen c5 check next. It's gonna be a very unpleasant check on c5. Let's give it. And I take the pawn, I think. So you can see that slowly the domination of the white pieces is visible. Now black has to take care of the king simultaneously of the h file. I can always switch the file to b1. So yeah. Alright, let's see how our opponent wants to defend in the current position. It's not an easy task now for black to defend here. Simple move, queen a8 is looking dangerous. To deliver a checkmate is not easy, but we will get the rook into the game. So rook will probably join the game over. He wants to change the rooks. Makes sense what our opponent is doing. Should we change the rooks or should we not? After changing, it's gonna be quite difficult to win the game. I'm only worried about that. So it's a good position, but difficult to win. So maybe let's give first. I don't know if I should change actually. To change also looks pretty good. Okay, let's maybe change. But then the knight gets to g6. This is something that we would like to avoid. Okay, let's give a check just to see where black wants to go next. And can I go bishop h5? Does it work? There is some d4 push take. Not 100% sure if I can do that. So can we give a checkmate, by the way? Rook to b1, is it enough to win the game? Can black defend the pawn on b7 in a good way? Little risky, of course. Rook to b1. Don't know, it is little I should not give a check yet. The check was very unnecessary in the position. Let's go here. I think queen c8 is bad because black should have given a check on h2, so I was not sure what happens next because bishop e2 d4 was there. Now I think we can go up with the king. Is it possible? He's gonna take. I believe so. I believe it is possible to play this move. Now bishop c5 is a deadly threat. Let's see if this is a checkmate, if we get to the black king first. Now bishop a5, I think. We would like to take. And to take on b7. Is it a checkmate? This is the power of the opposite color bishops, but still, I'm not 100% sure that this is a checkmate. There might be something now. Let's see. Also, little time on the clock. We would like to take here next. I should have played faster. Also here, rook b6 and rook to d6 is looking very powerful. He tries to escape. Okay, we will take. Now it is a winning position, obviously, but we still have to win. So let's go here. We give the check. He has to escape. And how to checkmate? Let's go with the move. Yeah, let's go with the move for rook e7. I think this is good. I should have played something else. I played way too slow. Why I didn't play queen d6? I initially wanted to play queen d6 and I didn't want to play queen on d6. Yeah, these hesitations are very bad. Once you decide on something, just do it. To hesitate is a bad idea. Position of white should be winning. But of course, so little time on the clock. Everything is possible here. Queen b d6, this was my idea. Position remains quite tricky, actually. I think I played not the best, to say it softly. So let's see how the game ends. I should have gone queen d6 immediately, the move before. So now it should be a win, but not so easy. Not so easy at all. So how to win here? We have to attack the bishop. Can we somehow play the move the bishop d1? Does it work? How to promote the pawn in a good way. So now I think we will be able to promote the pawn and finally win the game, but it was a big mess. So this was not easy. It was not easy. Now we are winning our game. So we give a checkmate. In the end, we win the game, but strategy, we had a good strategy, but I think I executed my strategy not in the best way. So There was a chance. There was a chance for our opponent to escape. Let's go with the next game. In case you like my comments and obviously you like our educational material at VChess, like and subscribe. Try out our application. Very nice app. By the way, please write in the chat who tried so far our app. And of course, what do you think about our app? Let me read a little bit the comments. Do you play gambits for fun? Well, I don't know what you mean with a gambit, because there are so many different openings, different gambits. Some people call a gambit something very, very normal. So you have to be more precise. Which openings shall I play? Everything. We play now here to get better, so we try out many different openings. So who is involved into VChess? Many people, so there are many things. We have the application coming out, so we have one app on the market already. Now there will be another one coming out. Nice application where you will be able to play live games instantly with your friends or whoever. So we have the IT, we have the streaming. So I do the streaming, and Gemelin is doing it as well. Of course, we have the coaches, we have the chess programs, so there are many chess players involved. This is what we do on VChess. We just started not so long ago, so we'll be growing fast, hopefully, with your support. Let's see, what do we have here? We have quite a normal between queen's gambit and I don't know how to call it, so let me take on f6, because this e3 move order is not the best. So these positions obviously are perfectly okay for black, because black bishop will get back to d6. So this is more or less equal in my evaluation. Very, very playable, of course, for both, but this is equal. So give check and take the bishop somewhere. There was knight on c6. We could not have done it. It would not have worked. Now maybe bishop takes f3 will be played. I'm gonna take back with the queen, and we have no. He does not take yet. Okay, let's see if he takes now, because after short castle I might be able even to take with the pawn here on f3, and then we will try to be very strong on the g file. Let's see how it goes, but maybe we have to try it out. This endgame, I believe, is more or less equal. Also can be played with the white pieces, but gf is looking more ambitious. So let's try to play the move gf idea. King h2, rook to g1. Very, very simple idea. Little dangerous to play moves like gf, so maybe in a classical game I think queen takes f3 would be better, but now that we play rapid games, we can allow ourselves a little bit of fun. Next move is the move f4, and then we get into the attack with the idea that we have the opposite color bishops on the board. Opposite color bishops means we have better attacking chances, so the side that starts the attack is going to be up. Let's hope it's white. How long you have been playing chess online? I don't play chess online because I don't like it, so I only play chess when I stream like this. I don't play chess online for myself. So yeah, if I analyze after the games, no, I don't analyze after the games, because I analyze the game during the game. I think it's enough for one game, so we don't lose so much time. Let me see. Yes, to expose the king can be tricky sometimes, but now we have a strategy of as I mentioned earlier, to have this kind of opposite color bishop positions. So we try to attack actually the king of black. To play f5 followed by rook f6, not so dangerous, so we play the move f4, very normal. We would like to get the queen to f3 or to play the move queen g4, because now it would be a slightly better endgame. We have this better structure on the chessboard. Knight on f6, very normal play by black. Let's get the queen to f3, as we promised. Maybe the next move is king h2, followed by the move rook to g1. Maybe we will also play knight on e2, knight on g3, which is also normal. So we have a couple of different options here with the white pieces, and with the black pieces, not so easy to play those positions because black has no direct plan. Rook e8, yeah, very solid move by our opponent for the moment. Good game by black. Now rook to g1 or knight on e2. I don't know. Maybe let's go knight on e2, because to get the knight on g3 feels like it is the right idea. Knight is not doing much on c3 except stopping black from playing knight e4, but I don't know how dangerous is a move knight on e4. It allows white to get the queen to g4. Knight on e4, played on the board. Okay, we can go queen g4, try to get a better endgame. Maybe not a bad idea. Also to take is not a bad idea, because we have knight and queen combo. Might be a little better for white. Maybe queen on g4 first. So we ask our opponent, do you like to change the queens or you want to keep the queens? And then next move we will see if we're gonna take on e4 or we're not gonna take on e4. So no rush. Bishop on b4 is not doing much, so we have all the time in the world here with the white pieces. This is going to be a positional game in most of the cases. So yes, what else do we have here? Let's take a look at the move queen on f6. We can take here on e4. So we have the knight and queen combo in the attack. It's a beautiful combination, so I think I should take and play the move knight on g3. So we have this queen and knight, which is usually better than queen and bishop, in case white will be managing to get some strong play, but I think we should be able to attack in the current position. Also to play knight on h5, queen g6, to go for this endgame might be a little better for white, but we want more than that. Just a better endgame. I don't think it is enough in the current position. We should aim for more. We can go h4 followed by h5, also very logical, or to put the rook on g1 immediately. I like to move rook on g1. So we're getting ready to do something very unpleasant towards black on the g file. We should be careful with moves like c5. So c5 could be the breakthrough for black. We have to pay a lot of attention on this move c5. At the moment it doesn't work, because if there is c5, we're gonna play a3, attacking the bishop, and then we're gonna take the pawn on c5. So not worried yet, but in case black is gonna prepare the move c5, we have to be careful with it. So for example, bishop f8 is a preparation for the move c5. Let's play first rook to d1, not to allow the move c5. Let's stay very cautious here. It looks like a better position for white, but we have to be very precise here. Otherwise, black might be doing fine. So we see bishop f8, rook to d1 as we planned. Oh, a5. So this is not dangerous. This move is not dangerous. It's not a preparation for the move c5, so we can be happy. Now we have to start some kind of mating attack here. It must be connected to the move knight on h5. So we play king h2 immediately. There might be queen g6. We go queen on d7. Queen gets here. I don't know if we want that. Then we will be forced to play the endgame. So here queen g6 is gonna be an endgame. Slightly better for white, but somehow it feels we should get more than that. How to get something more than slightly better? Not easy. Maybe we should start with the move h4, then to get the pawn to h5, but what comes after? Not easy to give a checkmate here. to the position of black. The bishop on f8 is an excellent defender, so there will be no easy solutions here. I like the move h4. I don't know why exactly, but I like the move h4, so we want to have h5, eventually knight f5, king h3. Or should I go king h3 immediately? Because this endgame now, it should be better for white. It feels better. So, checkmate or just... I don't know. Difficult to say. Okay, let's go for a checkmate, because I think it's not so easy for black to do something on the queen side. There are no threats yet. The move a3, I have the move b3. Next move is king to h3, I will double. Oh, he brings the rook away. It's possible rook to b5, but now the king. King is so alone. Is it really a good play for black? Let's see. So I continue, I guess, with what I started. Knight f5 somewhere. First we defend the pawn, no reason to give it. Now I'm getting ready to jump. Maybe also I can try something with queen on d7, this endgame. I don't know. I think with white it would be great to avoid the endgame. But let's see. King on h8 makes sense. How can we push now? Probably knight on f5. Knight takes a beautiful position, but what's next? Maybe f3 and rook to g2. So we're defending with a knight, the pawn on f3, on e3. And then we transport. So it would be very, very good here. f3 and rook to g2. So we try to win the pawn on g7. Still not easy, not easy. Quite unpleasant to play this with black. This, yes, but objectively speaking, I think not an easy position at all. Maybe better first to play... now he panics a little bit with the move c5. So should I take it? And then the rook is going to take the pawn on d5, is going to be weak. We can get the knight on d4. This is possible, but it's a switch of plans. But I think we should take, yeah. We should take, not to put the knight on d4. Oh, he takes. This is a surprise. I didn't think that this is good for black, but maybe. Because now we can win the pawn on h6. He's going to take on f2. We take f7. This is not looking very good for black. I believe we should be doing well, so let's take. And I thought I can take the pawn here. Also, knight on d6 is looking very good, so let's choose. What should we play here? I think to take on h6 should be the right decision, because not to take, in case we can take, would be weird. So let's take the pawn. Queen goes back, we go back. Is it enough to win the game? Because this move also looks very promising. So take, queen f6, d7, yeah. But I think I should take it. I should take the pawn because I can. So let's take the pawn. He takes f2, he doesn't go back. This is very surprising move. It looks like it should be a checkmate now, but we have to find it, obviously. So, in case we take the pawn, there is king on g8. We can give another check, king goes back, but we won the pawn, so there is no downside to that. And then we will go knight f5, defending the pawn. Yeah, this should be enough to win the game, I think. Is it enough? Okay, let's take first, because it changes nothing. So we can go here, knight h6. And we can also go knight on e5. He takes, I go rook to g3. So there is no checkmate, there is no nothing. All the pieces are so beautifully positioned for white. We have to take a decision, I believe. Let's go knight h6, check, and to put the knight on f5. It looks just so powerful to have the knight on f5. There are no checks, there is no nothing. I think the game is over. And here you see the power of the queen and the knight. Once something happens, it's just a checkmate. So sometimes it feels like there is nothing direct, so, well, maybe queen and knight is not so powerful, but long run, you see that in case something happens, it's just game over. So here we have to give a checkmate, which is still not an easy task, but we should be able to do that. Maybe first to play rook to g2, by the way, just to be safe. I like to be safe first. I think we are safe, yeah. Rook on g2, very, very safe. King on h2, so we return, no more checks, and there is knight on g7 coming now. King is in perfect safety, knight is keeping everything together. By the way, knight on g3, attacking the queen and attacking the rook also looks like a win. I think it's gonna be a win. I think it's gonna be a win. Very powerful knight and queen combo here. And of course, welcome everyone who is watching. Please like, subscribe in case you like my comments. We are having here some chess fun, and I try to explain the best way I can what is going on the chessboard, what are the main ideas. Queen on a1. Can I just take it because the rook is hanging here on e6? I believe I can, so let me take on g7, no? What is happening after a take? I don't know, so I just take it. The rook is hanging on e6. He takes, and I thought knight f5 is the last move of the game, and it is, I guess. Knight on f5, the rook is under attack, there is queen g8, checkmate coming next, that's it. That's it. Looks like a win. Our opponent resigns, so we give him a revenge because he's asking for revenge, so it's fair. We play another game against the same opponent, and let's go for a very solid setup. Last game we played the King's Indian, this time let's play the Nimso. And of course, thank you for the nice comments. In case you're enjoying the games, please like and subscribe. As well, you can become a member of VChess on YouTube, so you would be most appreciated to do so in case you like what we do. c6, very normal. Now the knight is on f4, so usually black is putting the bishop on d6 in this kind of situations. Bishop on d6 is a good position against a knight on f4. Short castle. Now usually we should play very solid. Rook on e8, beautiful position. Next, knight on d7, knight f8, knight on g6. One of the ideas, very, very simple idea and quite powerful, by the way. Also, we might be able to take on f4, not so bad. Is there a threat of the e4 move? I don't think there is a threat, at least not at the moment. We can play a funny move, knight a6, so let's see. In case white is gonna take on a6, we will have a bad pawn structure, but we have a bishop pair, and this can be not so bad because we have f3 on the board. Usually f3 is with the idea of playing e4, obviously, and after f3 the pawn on e3 is pretty bad in case, of course, black can avoid the move e4. Next move e4, we should try to avoid the move e4. It can be done by simply taking the knight, which is not so bad. Or to play the move c5, which might be not so bad, or to play queen on c7, which is also not so bad. Queen on c7, I think there will be g3, and still e4 is coming next. So, how can we play in the current position? Maybe c5 is also not a bad decision. Take, then I take and take should be fine. So let's play the move c5. Quite funny. I'm not sure it works, but let's see. It's quite usual for Nimso, but in case of f3, we play the move c5. So very usual reaction against the move f3. Thank you very much for the nice comments in the chat. Appreciate it. In case you learn something from the games, that's great. You become a better chess player day by day. To become a grandmaster takes a while, so thank you for the nice comments. Alright, I see comment how you think is important for us to learn and the tactical motives. Okay, to learn and tactical motives, of course, that's important to learn. Tactical motives, very obvious. So, in case you are strong in tactics, yeah. Oh, this is good. So, what happens next? We have the knight on c7 defending the pawn on d5. This is very, very usual. f3 is good in case you can play the move e4. In case e4 is not possible, it means f3 might be not the best. White is taking on c5. Now, as you can see, oh, e4, this is a surprise. This is a surprise because I can simply take, and this is at least equal for black. As well, we might go with the move d4, but this is not the best. So we should or take or do nothing. Two options here for black. In case we take, I think it is completely equal, maybe even slightly better for black. So in case we do nothing, white is gonna take on d5. It's also fine, but okay, let's go for the endgame, or should we play something like bishop e6 is also looking good. It's enough to equalize bishop e6, but maybe it's not enough to be better. So let's take on e4. Let's go for this very equal or maybe slightly better endgame for black, but I believe it's equal. So we have to take here on e4, I guess. And now we need to think. So how to play position like this for a win? Not an easy task because it is just an equal position. First, we should think to keep the queens or not to keep the queens. In his case, I would have taken the queen because just to be sure. Now we have a chance to escape with the queen. Maybe put the queen to f6. It's looking like a nice decision. Also to put the bishop to d4 is looking pretty good. So queen on f6, there might be some queen on c2 attacking the pawn on h7 and attacking the bishop. So here we have to be a little bit careful not to blunder something. What should we do? What should we do here? Very difficult to play this position for a win. Maybe bishop d4 to block white from development. Looks pretty normal, so let's go with the move bishop d4 eventually. Maybe we can stop white for a couple of moves. Bishop on c1 is still not yet in the game, objectively speaking. Of course, it is just an equal position. But we have to try, Queen on c2 with the idea of rook to d1. Is it dangerous? I don't think it's very dangerous. We have many ways of defending. Pawn is hanging on h7. So should we give a pawn, trying to get some counterplay? Very possible. Or just to play the move g6. Probably rook to d1 is going to be the next move by white. To have this pin feels unpleasant. I think it's okay for black, but it's not like what we would like to have in a perfect case. So what should we do here? To sacrifice a pawn to get some kind of funny position, but it might be funny and bad. This is a problem. Maybe bishop d4 was not the best. Not so easy here. What can we do? Rook to d1 is coming next. I think black should be able to be fine, but knight is under pressure here. Maybe knight e6, but I don't like this move. I don't know, I feel like maybe there is compensation, but I don't like it so much. But okay, let's play. Let's play the move knight on e6. I don't like the move knight on e6, but let's see. Let's see what happens next. And of course we have to play way faster the next couple of moves because we are under pressure. Maybe I should have just taken the queen, so we would play the endgame. It would be more or less equal. We wanted more than an equal endgame, and obviously, yeah, why not to wish for more? But now, some small pressure he doesn't take on h7. Alright, so he tries to be as active as he can. I can take and play queen f6. This is okay for black, I think. Can I play immediately the move queen f6? There is knight on d4, d5 coming. Very complex position, I would say. So, what should we play? Maybe queen f6 still, because knight h5, I have queen h4. Looks very complicated, everything here. Out of nowhere we have quite a complex position. Let's go with the move queen to f6. Because I don't want to take and queen f6. Yes, it would be approximately equal, but it feels that I should play against the bishop on c1. And the play is, of course, to keep the bishop on c1 as long as possible on c1. This is what I'm trying to do, to take the pawn on h7. Yes, of course, white is capable of doing it. But we still have this bishop on c1. So in theory, if I manage to keep the bishop on c1, then maybe it's not so bad what I'm doing. But we will see, because very, very complicated position. Next move for black, maybe bishop e5 back. So we have this beautiful bishop. It's going to play on both flanks. Bishop takes, so he finally decides to win the pawn on h7. Alright, let's see what happens next, because the next move is so important. Knight on d5. I don't know if this is a good play for white. We have here the move queen to h4. Very dangerous. The bishop is under attack, and we have this bishop e5 coming next. h2 pawn might fall. Is there a defense of the h2 pawn? Of course there is a defense, but we speak about a good defense for white. Also, I have here the idea of bishop f2 and bishop g3, also not looking bad. I think we will have some compensation, so it is not that white is just a pawn up for nothing. We should have quite a decent compensation in the current position, but it's very sharp here. Crazy position here. Difficult to say who is doing better. Also, we have beautiful move, by the way. Bishop here on f5. We might have something like knight. No, knight we don't have, but maybe bishop f5. We have bishop on g1 was the idea. Knight on d4 was a tempo. This would be crazy in case it works. Looks weird, but maybe it's not so bad, actually. But of course, bishop e5 feels more natural. Like the next move for black. I think bishop f5, bishop g1, and does something crazy like this works. But I think bishop e5 is looking better. So let's go with the move bishop e5. We attack the pawn on h2. And knight on d4 are coming next, so double threat. I thought bishop g1 might work. A rook takes, and we have this knight on d4 winning f5 back and very active, but this is too crazy. Too crazy for a blitz game. In a classical game, you might have some time to think about moves like bishop on g1. In an online game, just 3 minutes on the clock, this is too complex. So we have to choose more simple decisions like move bishop to e5. Let's see. Knight on d4. Deadly threat. Is there a way for white to avoid this threat? Because now the pawn on h2 is under attack. How to stop black from playing move knight on d4? Is there a way to stop? Because if there is no way to stop knight on d4, then yes, we are doing excellent. It would be just fantastic. Let's see, let's see. What happens next? By the way, you did not say yet if you have tried our application VChess and how you like it. It's a very good app to do chess by yourself or with a family, because you can connect it to TV and then you can play with the full family. We're gonna take the pawn on g3. Alright, he is missing, I think, the move knight on d4. Can we play the move knight on d4? What is happening after knight on d4? I think it's straight resignation. Is it correct that the move knight d4 just finishes the game? I think it does. I don't see what to play for white after knight on d4. Queen is under attack. There is somewhere a checkmate as well. We want to win the bishop on f5. I think that's it. I think it's over after the move knight on d4. So it has been a very turbulent game. I think we've been doing well, but then maybe I should have changed the queens and went for this endgame, but we kept the queens on the board to make the game more complex, and indeed the game became more complex, and now with the move knight on d4, I guess we win the current game. So yeah, queen under attack, bishop is under attack, things are looking bad for white. We have the move bishop on g5. What is the idea? In case I take, probably there's rook takes g3. This is the idea. But it still looks like a winning position for black. We can take and then take and take on f5. Also, this is looking like completely winning. So I think we should just play the move queen takes g5, or this is the most simple way in my opinion. So we take. Probably, yes, taking. Now we take the queen. Rook is under attack. And I think that's it. We can take the rook. I don't see what is the plan for white here to come back. We can also take the bishop on f5. Also, this is looking like a complete win. So let's take the bishop. More simple solutions are usually the best. There's no attack, there is no nothing. We're a full piece up. So I guess it is almost a resignation here. And that's it. With white, there is just one check. Doesn't help much. So rook on c1. Alright, we will be able to go with the bishop, just I think back here to h7. Bishop defends the knight. Oh, knight on c2. I completely missed this knight on c2, of course. This was bad. Why did I play it? This happens when you stop to focus. So now I will have to play better chess here to win my game, because this was just horrible. Why did I do that? Actually, how to win the current game? It is very tricky now, because I cannot move my knight. What a mistake in one move. This is happening when you stop to focus. You can never stop to focus in a chess game. So now I don't know what to do. Maybe let's play the move g5, because at least the rook endgame is easy to play. If I would do something else, it would be not easy to play. Now at least we have here very obvious moves to be made. But yeah, piece up and one move blunder. This is terrible. Terrible. We have to stay focused always. This is a key. So let's go here. b2 pawn is under attack. We take it. Is it a draw or is it a win for black? Should be a draw. But still we are fighting. We are still fighting in the current position. So where can we go now? Should we advance the pawns? I think we have to. Next move is the move b5. Let's go. Let's continue. The move b4 and a3 and a2 might be a winning idea, so can we execute the winning idea here for black and still win the game after the big blunder? Let's go with the move b4. It looks like we're in time to win the game by playing a3 and a2. Quite lucky in the end, because it was a drawish rook game. Now we're winning, so we made as well and come back. It's very dangerous for white to have the king on the first rank, to be in this kind of shape. It's just so risky. So white should have done something else. Now we promote the pawn. What will be a rook up. And obviously it is a winning position. So yes, in the end we win the game. And by the way, now we have 2702, so we improved our rapid rating a little bit, but of course it doesn't matter. For me, online rating is completely irrelevant. In case you like the content, please like and subscribe, obviously. That's it for the current stream from myself. Follow us on VChess. I will be back most probably in the evening, Dubai time. So in case you gained some knowledge, visit our website, take a look at our products. We have very nice books and PDFs, so I think very useful. You can just buy it, it's a straight download, it's also easy, a lot of information and also cheap. Most of the books are just $5 US. Also, although our application, I think it's a nice, very nice app. All right, I hope you enjoyed my comments. Wish you all a very nice day and hopefully see you next time at VChess. Thank you and bye.